I want to ask everybody, how is everyone doing today? On three, really loud. 1, 2, 3. How's everyone doing today?
Great.
Okay, awesome. All right, so with the goal for this talk, I'm not trying to change anybody's life today. What we're going to do is we're going to have a little conversation. I want you to think. Just think to yourself, hey, what could be something that I can make a slight adjustment on? Internally converse with yourself, and over time, maybe do something. The way we're going to do that is we're going to look at some areas of our life where we are complacent. All right? Where's some places we've kind of let ourselves slide? We all do it. I'm horrible about it myself. We're going to learn how we can shock ourselves out of complacency. So boom, just right out. And finally, we're going to learn how to prevent ourselves from becoming complacent, and then kind of like going back and forth in an area of goal achievement. Because that's kind of the difference of I'll say inverse of complacency is a mindset of goal achievement. So that's what we're wanting to do. So determining where we are complacent. I just asked you guys how you're doing today. I got some good, some fine, some greats. I love the greats. But let's be honest with ourselves. If you didn't know the name of my speech, what would you have said? Let's say you're downstairs and you see, I don't know, Jane on the elevator or whoever before you go up to your floor. You're like, oh, how you doing today? She's going to say, I'm doing good. How are you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. But are we really? Have we cheapened this word good to the point that we say it and it just lets us go by? And obviously, we want to mingle with Jane or Sharon downstairs, but what we don't want to happen is get caught in a long conversation, so that's why we say we're good. And I'm okay with that. But what I don't want us to do is lie to ourselves and say we are good. When there's areas in our life that we can come in and shore up, tighten things up a little bit. Maybe it's our finances, maybe it's our health, our wellness, our relationships with others, right? I think these are all areas that we kind of let ourselves slide. Maybe some of you guys are in sales with your company, okay? Maybe you have, for a little bit, dealt with some approach anxiety, some call anxiety. These are all super common issues. I run into these pretty much every week with people, but people continue to say, what? I'm doing good. We say it enough that we end up lying to ourselves. What we want to do is we want to look at ourselves and say, are we really? What should we do? All right? When we found a couple of the areas we want to work on, we want to say to ourselves, hey, we need a plan to get out of this. All right? Maybe it's our health. Okay? Maybe we're going to cut out some carbs, cut out a couple trips to the drive-thru or pizza on Wednesday, whatever, something that's kind of been holding us back. But the thing is, a small little adjustment maybe won't do it. Why? Because it's not very far off from our area of complacency, not very far off from the life that we're currently living. We're just, it's a small adjustment. Will it get our goals achieved? Eventually, right? But the fact is, if we just make a small adjustment, we can easily slide back. So what I want you guys to do is think about, an area. Maybe it's, credit card debt. All right, and you say to yourself, man, I'm going to pay this off, or student loans, whatever you have, and I'm going to pay off an extra $100 a month. Okay, that's what you want to do. What I want you to do is for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, pay $300 off, pay $500 off. Something that hurts. Something that you've got to make an audacious change in your life so that you know what's happening, okay? $100 is probably not going to hurt most of us. It's going to make us, maybe we can't go out to eat one Friday a month, something like that, just to look at your life. But $500 a month for a 4 or 5 month period, that's going to be something that may cause some change. Now, after that 4 or 5 month period, whatever you determine, I want you to say to yourself, boom, I'm going to go back to the 100, to the let's call it the sustainable plan, because 300 or 500 may not be sustainable, right? But it's something we can really bust and shock ourselves into, that when we fall back to the 100, it's like a vacation. All of a sudden, we've got an extra, $400 a month. Now, let this be the same way with your, let's use health, for example, okay? Who here thinks they should occasionally work out and or walk? Anyone? Who here says to themselves at the end of a work day, or, maybe you like to get up early, oh, I'm too tired? Anybody? I know I do it occasionally, right? We all do. And we can find ourselves falling into this rationalization of not doing it. Because that's what we do. Oh, I'm too tired today. Oh, well, I'll do it tomorrow. If we're wanting to shock ourselves into a plan for goal achievement, so maybe we're trying to lose X amount of pounds of fat, and we're sitting here kind of plateaued out for 4-6 months, twice a day, I want you to do some sort of audacious act. Maybe it's working out twice a day. Maybe it is cutting your carb or fat intake to half of what it should be for a pretty long period. Okay? Then what happens is after that predetermined period, we sit back, move to kind of our sustainable plan, and it's like a vacation. It's easy. Okay? Now you're probably saying to yourself, Pate, when we move back, aren't we going to be complacent? No. And here's the reason why. Because you're about to learn how to prevent complacency. All right? Preventing complacency is something that's, I mentioned the inverse of complacency, which is kind of like a mindset of goal achievement, right? Or a mindset of, how I like to say, staying hungry, staying driven. What you're going to do is you're going to immerse yourself in various things that you're interested in and interested in achieving. If it's your finances, you are going to find as much information as you can, okay? Read YouTube videos. Like right now, who has a phone? Does anybody in here have a smartphone? Everybody, amazing. In this little deal that we carry around, it's like 99% of the information that has ever been available in the world is accessible in a Google search for free, right? Every day when we're sitting there, I don't know, watching The Bachelorette or whatever we do when we get off, we have the option of filling ourselves with mindless television or sitting there knitting, which I actually think is beneficial, so I'm not going to get hit on that too hard. Or we can sit there and immerse ourselves in a YouTube video in what the best people in the entire world of all time have said. But we choose not to because it's a little bit difficult and a little bit tasking, and we'd rather check out. Okay? Humans aren't compartmentalized. Right? What I mean by that is when we have success in one area of our life, it tends to continue over. I like to call that positive inertia. You look at, my favorite thing is when I have someone come to me and they say, Pate, I want you to keep me accountable with my health and fitness. I say, okay. And so one of my things that I do with my company is I never do a meal plan. I never do an exercise program. I never tell anyone to do anything. You determine what you do. I mean, I'm not a trainer. I don't have a nutrition degree. I don't know what's best for you. I don't. But I do know how to keep you on your plan, right? Well, so here's what goes along. The person decides what they want to do. They do their plan. They lose some weight. And all of a sudden, wow, they've achieved that goal. And they're hungry in other aspect of their life. They start doing things like getting promotions because they're working harder. They have this positive inertia. It carries on to other aspects of your life. It's incredible how it happens. So now you may be saying to yourself, oh, but that sounds exhausting, right? For the rest of my life, sit here and research and find things. I think this positive inertia, what I think you'll find is that what's exhausting is you staying where you're at right now and not achieving what you want. It's exhausting to wake up every day and not have that feeling of success, that feeling of I'm achieving something. That's what's exhausting. Once you shock yourself out of that, you are on a roll. And what inertia, right? It's hard to stop it. That's why it's called inertia. That's why I use that term. But anyway, so here's what I want us to do. I want us to determine the areas of our life where we've been a little bit complacent, where we've let things slide. Okay? I want us to think about it right now. I've put out a little sheet. This is a quick and easy deal. I do this with several of my clients. You don't have to write on it now, just think, but you can. When we are in an area where we're semi-complacent, or find some areas that we are, let's do some research. Let's look, why remake the wheel, right? Let's look at what people that have already achieved this have done. Let's look, maybe it's fitness, finances. If you're in sales, I love the sales thing because my clients that are in sales, they say, oh, that's not working, it's not working. I said, does the company that you work for provide a program of what you should do, right? And they say yes. And I said, have you done that program by the letter of the law? And no, but XYZ. And I said, why don't we try that? We've spent how much money? Pat, you guys spent probably a decent amount of money coming up with the plan for your sales staff, right? So I probably the guys that they pay to figure this out is probably a little bit better than some fly-by-night guy that's 9 months in the business that tries to do some shortcuts. Why don't we try that for a little bit? Let's look for what the experts say and follow that to the letter of the law. Okay? Now, we want to constantly look at ourselves and question ourselves. We want to be honest with ourselves. We're not going to say we're good anymore. We're going to look and say, where can we do better? Are there areas that we're great? How do we make the areas that don't look so good look like the great areas? All right? Then what we're going to do is we're going to find a peer or a mentor. Okay? I have a friend in my life right now. I'll call him up. I'll be like, look at this. And he cuts it to pieces. He cuts it to shreds, and he makes me better every time. It hurts, but I grow. That's what you got to find. Somebody that's going to be honest with you. Health, finances, whatever. It's scary, but you got to do it. Okay? And last but not least, when we slip back in to complacency, we got to shock ourselves out again. So is there any questions about anything I've said so far? Anyone?
Let me ask you this. So when you're in this mode,
Mm-hmm.
and instead of saying I'm good or I'm fine, how would you answer someone? I'm working on it?
No, so answer them however you want, but to yourself, really look at yourself. Yeah, I said that, half jokingly, right? Because we don't want to spend 15 minutes mingling with Jane downstairs, right? We want to get up. But what happens is when we constantly say something, we start believing it, right? Think it, do it. Think it, believe it. Everybody heard that? And that's where that comes into play. Anybody else? Anything? Yes, ma'am. This is going to be a great day. I'm about to dominate. Right.
So that takes mindset in that direction. So kind of saying what you're doing with another person, kind of the same thing in that it's going to be a great day.
Mm-hmm. What I like to do, and everybody's going to have to figure out their own thing. I like to take the calendar in my phone and look at what I have to do. And then within that, I like to schedule in some things. And on a Monday, every Monday, no matter where I am in the world, no matter what I'm doing, that day I take it to the max. I work out harder. I never miss a Monday workout, ever. There's times during the week where things are too busy and I can skip another day, but I refuse to ever skip a Monday. I refuse to ever skip a Monday on marketing my business because I don't want to allow the rationale of I'll let it happen tomorrow. I go ahead and start the week off. I don't say today is going to be a good day or a great day. I say we're about to come in and dominate today. I'm about to change this week. And I don't know, I never get tired of it, right? Because you're constantly pushing yourself. That momentum, that inertia. Anybody else? Anything?